At some point in your life, have you ever wanted to develop a new habit or leave a bad habit behind? Have you felt the desire to change things, improve, and do the right thing? However, as you may have noticed, this is much harder than it seems. Surely at some point in your life, you've wanted to create a new habit or get rid of a bad habit. Maybe you felt a strong urge to change things, start improving, and act in a better way. But, as you probably realized, this is much more difficult than it appears. We've all faced failure at some point, the frustration of not being able to achieve what we planned. There's a crucial part of becoming better people that is hard for everyone: discipline. How many times have you made a plan, committed to a goal, only to stop after a few days, give in to impulses, and return to your old self? As I said, it's something that has happened to all of us at some point. However, just because it's common doesn't mean it's right or that we should accept it. Accepting mediocrity invites us to be mediocre, to settle, to lose the desire to challenge ourselves in life, and ultimately, to miss the chance of becoming the best version of ourselves. Let me say that if you can't overcome your bad habits, change your routines, or meet your goals, you probably need to improve your discipline. Discipline is the ability to overcome short-term desires. Immediate desires are the enemy of changing habits. Therefore, to change our habits, we need to develop our discipline. Discipline is simply doing what you need to do when you need to do it, even if you don't want to. In this video, we'll explore the importance of discipline in achieving excellence in everything we set out to do. We'll also discuss the growing difficulties in maintaining discipline in the modern world, and provide valuable tips for strengthening this essential virtue. Before we start, please help us by liking the video, as it helps us share this philosophy with more people and make a positive impact on many lives. If you want to stay updated with our content, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Throughout history, great thinkers and leaders have talked about the importance of self-control, self-awareness, and responsibility. Discipline, as a key tool for living virtuously and achieving a full and happy life, is often highlighted in their works. Being disciplined makes us free because it gives us the ability to make conscious choices. In the modern world, where we are constantly bombarded with stimuli and temptations, discipline becomes crucial to avoid becoming slaves to our immediate desires. People who live dominated by their impulsive desires often deceive themselves with the false sense of freedom. They believe they are free by following their momentary whims, without realizing the consequences of their actions. True freedom, however, lies in the ability to make conscious choices. Who do you think is freer? A lazy person who procrastinates and neglects their responsibilities, or someone who wakes up early, dedicates themselves to their tasks, and achieves their goals? At first glance, the answer may seem obvious. However, freedom is not just the absence of restrictions. Being free means having the ability to choose between different paths based on values and goals you've set. Discipline gives us the strength and mental clarity needed to make conscious choices aligned with our values and long-term goals. It allows us to delay immediate gratification in exchange for greater and more meaningful rewards in the future. By gradually developing discipline, we free ourselves from the chains of quick desires and achieve true freedom. The freedom to be who we want to be, and to build the life we desire. It might seem like the lazy person is freer because they do what they want and live their own way. However, the lazy person doesn't have the ability to choose. They will never be able to lead a different life because they are a slave to their laziness. Meanwhile, the disciplined person, who wakes up early and fulfills their responsibilities, has the ability to choose. They can decide to be lazy or responsible. In fact, this choice is available every morning of their life. True freedom of choice lies in acting with discipline, knowing that it's the right thing to do. This is what true freedom is. Being able to choose to be responsible when necessary, and to choose fun and pleasure when responsibilities are met. The disciplined person lives freely, while the lazy person lives as a slave to their laziness with no chance of improving. They live under the illusion that they are free or happier. This example can be applied to any addiction you can imagine. Now that we understand that discipline makes us freer, We need to understand what it really means to be disciplined. To achieve this, it's necessary to overcome our impulses. The ability to overcome these impulses and act even when we don't feel like it is true discipline. Being disciplined doesn't mean you'll never want to relax. It simply means you've developed the ability to resist that desire. The more you can resist such impulses, the easier it will be in the future. Discipline develops like a muscle. It's also important to understand the difference between discipline and self-punishment. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done to achieve your goals, even when you don't feel like it. Self-punishment, on the other hand, is about punishing yourself for not doing something or for making a mistake. Discipline is constructive while self-punishment is destructive. Discipline helps us grow and improve, while self-punishment makes us feel bad and stops us from moving forward. Between discipline and motivation, motivation is a great boost for getting things done, but it's unstable. One day you wake up motivated, and the next day that motivation might be gone. So, a person who relies only on motivation will never make real changes in their life or achieve their goals because, as we've seen, it requires consistent effort, not just for a few days. However, when you are a disciplined person, the outcome is different. Motivation can help you start, but when motivation fades, discipline takes over. It keeps us moving towards our goals even when we are unmotivated. Do you think an elite athlete always feels like training? Or that a successful writer always feels like writing? Or that the most successful entrepreneur always feels like working? This is where the difference between those who settle for less and those who want to improve shows up. We all feel like sitting on the couch or lying in bed, but not everyone has the ability to overcome that desire. And that's where discipline comes in. Discipline gives us the strength to overcome our immediate desires and work towards our goals, even when we don't feel like it. It helps us create the consistency needed for long-term success. Imagine a top athlete who trains every day, even when they're tired or unmotivated. They know that to reach their goals, they need to be consistent with their training. Discipline helps them overcome immediate desires and keep training, even when they don't feel like it. Or think of a successful writer who writes every day, even when they don't have inspiration. They know that to achieve their goals, they need to be consistent in their writing. Discipline helps them overcome creative blocks and keep writing, even when they don't feel like it. Or imagine a successful entrepreneur who works every day, even when they're stressed or overwhelmed. They know that to reach their goals, they need to be consistent in their work. Discipline helps them face their challenges and keep working, even when they don't feel like it. That's where the disciplined person has an advantage over others. But why, in the modern world, are there so many people without discipline? Why is it becoming harder to be disciplined these days? This is happening because life is becoming easier. When your survival is at stake, there's no room to fail in your responsibilities as your life depends on it. But when life becomes easier, two conditions arise that make it difficult to develop discipline. The first condition is temptation. We're surrounded by more sources of temptation and distraction than ever, making it increasingly difficult to control our desires. Things like TV or social media compete for our attention, and many of them are designed to attract us and keep us engaged. We have the ability to do whatever we want through the internet. Never before has humanity had so many different ways to distract ourselves and avoid working. I'm not saying all these things are bad, but it's up to us to learn how to manage the time we spend on them. As I've said, discipline is like a muscle, and it weakens if not used. In the modern world, you don't need to be disciplined to survive. Amazon offers next-day delivery. Netflix lets us watch whatever we want whenever we want. Social media gives us dopamine hits when we need them, and we can order food that arrives at our door in minutes. All this makes us more comfortable and less able to handle frustration and effort. When things get tough, it's easier to give up and seek something simpler and more rewarding. The list is endless. As I mentioned in my video about the art of being disciplined, instant gratification is gradually eliminating our chances to practice discipline. We're becoming impatient, and our ability to concentrate is decreasing. There's a quote from Seneca that I really like because it shows how an easier life takes away opportunities for improvement. There is no one less fortunate than the man whom adversity has forgotten, for he has no chance to be tested. Unfortunately, the world is removing the sources of resistance necessary to build discipline. We must understand that comfort isn't a bad thing. For Stoic philosophers, it's just a tool that can be used for good or bad. Using comfort to rest after fulfilling our responsibilities is a good thing, something I even encourage. The problem is excess comfort, which weakens our discipline. Everyone likes to sit on the couch and relax, but discipline is uncomfortable. It isn't pleasant because it causes us discomfort, but this discomfort is what helps us grow. It gives us a sense of development, achievement, and accomplishment. It shows us how far we can go and helps us push our limits. The first step to being disciplined is to find a purpose. Set a goal you want to achieve. As I mentioned before, discipline is like a muscle and needs to be trained the same way. To grow our discipline, we need to exercise it consistently. Start with small goals. Don't try to change everything at once. Begin with something simple, like waking up 15 minutes earlier each day or reading a book for 30 minutes a day. Once you achieve these small goals, you can move on to bigger ones. Be consistent. The key to discipline is consistency. Do what you set out to do every day, even if you don't feel like it. The more you do it, the easier it will become. Be patient. Discipline takes time to develop. Don't get discouraged if you face setbacks along the way. Everyone makes mistakes. The key is to learn from them and keep going. Reward yourself. Give yourself a reward with something you enjoy. This will help keep you motivated. Surround yourself with disciplined people. The people you spend time with can influence your habits. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to be more disciplined. To develop discipline, we need to create uncomfortable situations in our lives. Just like training a muscle, you don't start by lifting 300 pounds on the first day, right? Start with light weights and gradually increase. The same goes for discipline. We should start with small challenges, small goals we want to achieve. Think of things in your life that are uncomfortable for you, but that you know you can do. Setting tasks that you can't accomplish with your current level of discipline is a waste of time, just as setting goals you can easily achieve without effort. Accomplishing these small, uncomfortable tasks will help build your discipline gradually. Soon you'll be able to challenge yourself with tougher goals. Each goal achieved is a repetition that strengthens our discipline muscle. Try to exercise regularly, like running a few days a week or going to the gym. In addition to being healthy, this will make you feel accomplished and help strengthen your discipline. Participate in sports events in your city. Look for events that challenge you to push yourself and work on your discipline. For example, join a race or practice martial arts. Few sports require as much discipline as martial arts. Plus, you'll get in shape and learn self-defense. Learn a new hobby, like cooking, sewing, or gardening. Developing new passions and hobbies is great for practicing consistency and dedicating effort to an activity. Creating something from scratch is another excellent way to work on patience, effort, and discipline. Think of a project that motivates you and try to complete it, whether it's painting a picture, writing a short story, or assembling furniture. The key is to commit to the process and stick with it until the end. Waking up early can be a challenge for many, but it's a great way to build discipline. You don't have to start by waking up at 5 a.m. right away. Start slowly by setting your alarm 15 minutes earlier each week. Over time, you'll get used to the new routine and have more time to reach your goals. Discipline is like a muscle that needs to be trained. Start with small challenges and gradually increase the difficulty. With consistency and persistence, you'll be able to achieve your goals and build a more disciplined and fulfilling life. I hope this video has been helpful in guiding you to become more disciplined or at least inspiring you to push yourself. Finally, I invite you to subscribe to the channel for more content on Stoicism. Also, check out 2 videos filled with historical wisdom that you'll probably enjoy.